It's never a dull day in a West Ham world, is it? It really is never a dull day as West Ham prepared ourselves for the Corrupt Cup. That's what I'm calling it. It's the Corrupt Cup because that's exactly what it is. It's not been the greatest of starts to the season. West Ham fans calling for many changes to be made in the team. And one of those changes to be made in the team that West Ham fans are calling for is Jean-Claire Todibo, one of those players that we signed, that we chased all summer, but we've not seen him feature much over the Premier League campaign. You know, we were chasing him left, right, and centre. Us, Juventus, other clubs around Europe were paying a really keen interest in. Sorry, that's the end of the chest infection coming out of my system. But it's been quite a frustrating start to his West Ham career, and a player that has been sought after by many clubs around Europe, and it seemed to be one of those signings that West Ham, had a bit of a coup with. A fantastic prospect and player, but rumours are starting to come out to say that he himself has been told to toughen up, and we're hearing from people close to the player, people close to the club, saying that he needs to toughen up, and also he is not match fit. But as much as that has not happened, we do know he didn't have a pre-season, but we would have thought he would have been at the stage of fitness now and ready to rock and roll for the season, especially when Mavropanos hasn't been performing to the highest of standards, and we know Max Kilman is stepping up to the plate. He looks a bit of mustard, doesn't he? And I think that it's time to see that partnership come into play. You're hearing loads of rumours saying that it's taken him a lot longer than normal to come up to fitness. Is there a reason behind that? Is there a reason to do with any injuries he's ever had in the past? Is there anything to do with that's why, that's what's taken him longer? Is there an attitude issue with the player? But nobody actually does know that, right? So we can't speculate. We can speculate, but I think it's just come down to the fact that the player isn't fit and isn't ready and isn't fully match fit. We've heard from a good source close to the club that the player just isn't match ready, or wasn't match ready anyway. So we've obviously got Liverpool coming up in the Carabao Cup. I expect Todibo to get some form of game time there. I also expect that if he gets that game time there and he is reasonable in that game, then I expect him to start to get a run of games at West Ham in the Premier League, because it's not been going fantastically well, especially in the position that he can come in and take over. And I think if you can build up that partnership between him and Kilman as quick as you possibly can, then Mavropanos becomes a very good backup for West Ham. Do we have Todibo concerns, or is there a lot of overreacting? I think there could be an element of overreacting. I think we're just impatient, and we have to make sure that the player's fit, rearing to go and ready to go. We have to be patient as well, because some of the stuff we do here coming out of sources close to the club, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying that people have a spin of words if they need it to be. And, it's just the nature of the world that we live in these days. So, a lot of people have been bewildered by his non-inclusion in this West Ham side, and maybe there is something more to it. I don't think there is an attitude issue. I just think he's not had a pre-season, so he's needing to step up to the plate. But the player has a long history of playing many games in his footballing career, games that we shouldn't be worried about at all. If you think about, where he's come from, what he is capable of doing, and how he's managed his career throughout his whole time. He's a reputable international player who's got a lot of international games under his belt. He's footballing games under his belt, over 136 games for Nice, 10 for Toulouse, 5 for Barcelona, 10 for Schalke. But, last season played 30 games in Ligue 1. The season before played 34 games in Ligue 1. The season before that played 36 games in his career. So I think there's a player there. I'm not concerned about it. Just getting up to match fitness, and he'll be fine. So I don't think there's anything to worry about, and I expect him to get a run of games in this team. So have we got Todibo concerns? Absolutely. Why? Because he's not playing. Will he play? Yes. Will I see that transition sooner rather than later? Absolutely. And I think West Ham just need to make sure it's the right time to unleash Todibo. So it'll be interesting to see if he features against Liverpool. Who knows? But bide your time, be patient, and we'll see Jean-Claire Todibo in the West Ham starting lineup soon. Come on, you Irons.